everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another reaction video. Today I'm going to be watching, reviewing, and reacting to Season 2, Episode 11 of Hannibal. Alright, so we're getting pretty close to the end of the second season, a season that has been full of a lot of very interesting episodes, shocking events, Miriam being alive, Chilton dying, Hannibal going out of his way to try and clear Will's name, but in the process ending up almost getting himself killed, with Will reaching out to another killer in an attempt to get him killed. Hannibal hooking up with Alana, seemingly in order to simultaneously get back at Will and also to kind of blind her to everything that's going on. Yeah. Lots of crazy things, and then of course we have the beginning of this season where we saw a confrontation, a violent confrontation between Hannibal and Jack, which we are still waiting to see come to fruition. And then, we've been seeing Hannibal and Will do this dance with each other over the last few episodes, which I continue to believe is part of an elaborate kind of setup by Will trying to, as he said, kind of fish for Hannibal, lure him out, get him to confess to things, get him to open himself up to being actually discovered as the real Chesapeake Ripper. Which reminds me, Miriam last. Oh my god, this season. Oh my god. Yeah, so I continue to believe that, and I 100% do not believe that Will actually harmed Freddie Lowndes or anything, even though they strongly were trying to make it look that way. I think that he wants Hannibal to think he did, and that this is all part of the plot. But I guess we will see what happens. We've also had developments with the introduction of the Vergers, which is interesting. I'm curious to see where that goes, especially now that Will and Margot have hooked up, which I did not see coming. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Very excited to see where we go here, where this season's gonna end up, how we're gonna get to that Hannibal-Jack confrontation before this whole thing is over. But alright, so let's not delay this any longer. Let's get into it. Episode 11, Season 2 of Hannibal. Here we go. There's no way Freddy is really dead, okay? I know that's how Freddy died in the story. In Red Dragon, but no. No!
You're worried I killed Freddie Lowndes.
Did you?
What do you think?
I think that's the wrong answer to tell somebody who's already wondering what you're capable of.
Fair. But Alana, you weren't
I
believed the worst of
told
it
everyone
before.
Hannibal was a killer, and no one believed me. Just like no one would believe you if you said I was a killer.
Alright, you are making it creepy though,
I
Will.
don't think Hannibal is good for you, and I think your relationship is destructive.
Hannibal's good enough for you.
She's feeling it. She
Should be
knows
afraid.
deep down.
Of who we are.
Have you ever been a father?
I was to my sister. She was not my child, but she was my charge. She taught me so much about myself. Her name was Misha.
They're bringing this up again,
Was.
huh?
She's dead.
Will's like, what?
Abigail reminded me so much of her.
Why did you kill her?
What happened to Abigail had to happen. There was no other way.
There was.
He just admitted that.
But there isn't now.
Would you protect this child the way you couldn't protect Abigail?
still dream about Abigail. I dream that I'm teaching her how to fish.
I'm sorry. I took that from you.
Is this genuine remorse? I never know.
Wish I could give it back.
So do I.
This psychopath was incubating fantasies about killing and is building himself up. Or someone's building him up.
A lot
He has a
of
benefactor who admires his destruction. Shiva is both destroyer and benefactor.
He's being guided.
oh
This is some
man.
kind of signpost.
Maybe Freddy's killer didn't do this.
Alana, she really is
Maybe his benefactor did.
facing it, isn't she?
Why?
It's a courtship.
They're going to find something wrong with your lady parts, Margot. Or so the record will state.
Oh my god.
The doctor will advise me that it's best if they take everything. I'm afraid the only person you'll be celebrating Mother's Day with is me.
Oh, the tears thing. Oh my god, this fuck. Oh my god.
You're lying to each other, and they're lying to you.
Tell me what you believe is happening.
What do I believe? What do you believe? Do you believe Will killed Freddie Lowndes?
No, I don't.
Do you
Because
think Dr. Chilton's the Chesapeake Ripper?
There was overwhelming.
Stop lying, Jack! You think you've moved your pieces around so cleverly.
What's changed, Alana?
I have no confidence that I know Hannibal Lecter anymore. And even with as much as you know or think you know Hannibal, you don't know him either. And you don't know Will. And you are going to lose, Jack. You haven't lost already.
I want you to come with me.
I knew it!
How was my funeral?
I knew it! I knew it! Oh my god, and now she knows. She knows. It's
Must be the baby daddy. Excuse me if I don't offer you a cigar. I'm gonna feed you to my pigs. Carlo! You think it was Margot's idea to have an heir? I think it was your idea to take it from her. My idea to come here and kill you. The only thing you, your sister, and I have in common is the same psychiatrist.
oh my god.
Lecter had his druthers. You'd be wrapped around the bullet right now. Dr. Lecter's the one you want to be feeding to your pigs.
Oh my god, Will! Holy shit. Okay, well, that was episode 11, and a crazy episode. Like most of the episodes this season have been, honestly. But first of all, I'll just say, I knew it. I knew there was no way that Will killed Freddie Lowndes and that he had just gone full over to Hannibal's side. There was no way they were going to diverge from the story that dramatically. Although, I think that one of the things that this episode really was trying to highlight, at least in my opinion, is that even though Alana was wrong about some of the things, about some of what was going on between Will and Hannibal, I think in some respects, what they're maybe trying to suggest also is that she's kind of right to say that Jack shouldn't be so confident in thinking that he has this all under control either, and this is really played out and highlighted spectacularly by the ending here, where Will basically goes to try and get Hannibal killed again, despite the fact that he and Jack clearly have this whole operation in place. They've gone to great lengths to set it up, to the point where when Will, Jack must have been involved in the carving up and staging of two bodies now in order to try and entrap Hannibal, as well as the whole elaborate staging of the burning body rolling down into Freddy's parking spot and the funeral and everything to go along with it. So Jack has gone to extreme lengths here with Will in order to try and entrap Hannibal, the sole purpose of which is to bring him in as the killer, as the Chesapeake Ripper. And Will straight up got him saying, that he was responsible for Abigail's death and apologizing for that. But nonetheless, despite all those lengths they've gone to, at the end, Will is still, he wants Hannibal dead. He wants to go for that righteous justice that he has gotten a taste for, that Hannibal is right to think that he's gotten a taste for, and in some ways I think Alana is right to say that Jack is losing control of the situation. So I think that's very interesting, and now I'm really very curious to see how this is going to play out, because we know that this is going to lead somehow to Jack having a confrontation with Hannibal, a violent physical confrontation in Hannibal's kitchen. So I'm wondering if somehow Will is going to be more kind of caught up in this, and he's going to spiral even more so to the point that Jack gets very angry, and that's why it goes down that way, or what. I don't know. But I can kind of understand, I mean, it makes sense to me that Will would have lost it to that extreme degree, given the other insane situation that occurred this episode, which was Margot ending up being pregnant, and so, now the Will-Margot hookup makes more sense to me, that's what she was after that in particular, which, in light of everything else we know about her story, her and Mason, and Hannibal's manipulations all make sense. But anyway, so she's pregnant. Will starts to think about the possibility of being a father, starts to get attached to that idea. And what we know, I mean, from the context of the book storyline and the previous movies and such, is eventually Will becomes basically a father figure, like a stepfather. And he very much takes to that role. So I could see this as kind of him feeling that, and especially in light of what happened with Abigail and how he felt that with Abigail too, he clearly was drawn to the idea of it, and then to have Margot be so horrifically assaulted by her brother, to have not just the unborn child ripped out of her and take that away from both her and Will, but to have basically her uterus and ovaries and tubes and everything taken out so she could never have a child. I mean, the viciousness of that. And the fact that Will knows 100% that Mason only did that because Hannibal manipulated him into doing it. And not only did Hannibal manipulate him into doing that so he could continue to play with Margot and Mason, his little games that he enjoys, but he manipulated Mason into doing that knowing full well that Will was the father of the child, and knowing full well that Will was getting attached to the child, and knowing full well how much he had already hurt Will by taking away Abigail from him. And he sat there and had that conversation with Will where he said that how he was so sorry about it and he wished he could undo it, he wished he could undo Will's pain. And I was sitting here like, oh man, it seems like he's sincere. Does he really feel this way? And it seemed like Will maybe was kind of sort of buying it. And then Hannibal, nonetheless, after all of that, turns around and makes sure that Will's unborn child is killed in a horrific way. So yeah, so of course, Will is gonna want to kill Hannibal for that. And Hannibal had it set up so that he could turn Will off onto Mason to kill him. And it leaves me wondering, I mean, I guess it's more part of his overall goal to try and shape Will into this killer. He wants to push him further and further, and so this was just another step down that road that he wanted him to go down. But instead, it is setting him sort of down that road, but more in the direction of trying to kill Hannibal again. So, but, yeah. A really insane episode. I felt very badly for Alana all the way through, but it was good to see and fascinating to watch her just come more and more to terms with exactly what the hell was happening. And Hannibal. I'm kind of scared for her because Hannibal smelled the gunpowder residue, and yeah, he clearly knows something's up. Yeah, so, like I said, a crazy episode, an interesting episode. Besides everything that's gonna happen with whatever's gonna go down with Will, and whatever's gonna go down that leads to the Jack Hannibal confrontation, I'm also very curious to see what's going to happen with this whole Mason and Hannibal situation too, because again, from the books, I'm expecting a situation where Mason's face gets utterly decimated in some capacity due to Hannibal's activities. I mean, maybe they'll go a different direction, but they have an intense kind of relationship themselves in the books. So I don't know if we're gonna get that, but I'm curious about it if we are. I'm excited to see where the season's gonna end up. There's a lot of pieces in place. I just have a feeling it's gonna be a bang up end of the season, so super excited. But alright, I think I'm gonna wrap this up here. So if you guys have any comments for me, questions, anything else you'd like to say, feel free to do so. And I'll just say thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye.